traveling the state to bring you the important issues facing Mississippi. This is the Mississippi Hometown Network.
This is our Mississippi Horizons Workforce Symposium, our second annual event. This is an opportunity for Accelerate, along with its partners of MDA, other economic development agencies, educators from every level, K through 12, community college, IHL institutions, industry partners, to come to the same room to talk about what have we seen this year. Are the programs that we're developing in-house at Accelerate, are they actually moving the needle? If they're not, let's talk about that. Let's get that out in the open. Let's kind of reassess and deploy new programs that might actually move the needle in the directions we need them to. So this week is exciting for us because it's a chance for us to show our community what we're doing, and it's also a chance for us to hear and learn from our community about what we can be doing better. Our office was designed to try to understand what are the challenges facing the state in workforce, and how do we, understanding the resources we have at our disposal, focus those more collaboratively in a more coordinated fashion to increase the likelihood of meeting those challenges or overcoming those workforce challenges as we encounter them. We are delighted that you are here with us for our second annual Mississippi Horizons Workforce Symposium. This is what we envision this event to be: an opportunity for us as a community of Mississippians to come together to find ways in which we can engage the people of this state in more productive, effective, and efficient ways, getting them onto pathways that lead to unbelievable career opportunities, helping Mississippians change their trajectory.
Meeting talent needs has become the top concern of business executives. Many of you here today are in the economic development community. I've been involved in economic development for 20 years of my career. A magazine called Area Development surveys corporate executives and site selection consultants every year. 10 years ago, workforce issues were usually in the top 5 or 6, but the last few years they've been number 1 every single year, and that was true even before the pandemic. Workforce has gone from something that's pretty important 15 years ago to the dominant driver of economic development success today. And that means that the work you're doing could not be more important. We have one of the largest shortages of workers that we've had in our history. We've been running about 10 million job openings against about 6 million unemployed individuals. But we also have a good job shortage in this country. I ran these numbers a few months ago. We have roughly 30 million full-time employed adults in America, 30 million full-time employed adults not in school, making less than $35,000 a year. That's a real problem. And by the way, that's a problem in every state in America, not just the largely rural states. Another issue we don't talk about enough is misalignment in the labor market. Roughly 40% of the new college grads in Mississippi, and in fact in every state in America, start off not in a college-level job. And those folks that get a bachelor's degree or higher and don't get a college-level job almost never have a significant earnings premium associated with their employment and the occupation that they're in. It's one of the things that's really fueled this student loan disaster. And then even as we have all these folks seeking better jobs, we have a chronic undersupply of workers with key types of talent in technology and healthcare and nursing, skilled trades, manufacturing technicians, and so forth. So there's plenty of issues to work on. There are many things that you're going to do that are going to be super hard and are going to take many years to achieve. This one is hard, but not as hard as a lot of those other things. I'm still amazed that only a handful of states in the country have done this. But I want you to look at the rankings here. This is the most recent ones available. There's two magazines that put out rankings of custom workforce programs. One is Business Facilities there on the left, Area Development on the right. I've spent a lot of time talking with top site selection consultants around the country. Gray Swoop, who many of you know, probably knows all of them, and I think would agree with this statement that if you ask those folks, who is best at this, they almost invariably name 5 states, maybe 6 states: Georgia, Louisiana, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, 6 states. Outside of those 6, there's really nobody that's regularly considered one of the top states in the country. This is something that Mississippi could do and could achieve in, let's say, 3 years from full stop. I know it because I've done it twice in 2 other states, and I'm still stunned that not more states have done this. The folks that actually decide where these big projects go, they like these programs better than anything else that's available. So what would it take to do this in Mississippi? You need startup funds, $2 or $3 million a year, probably about $7 to $10 million a full run rate. Single most important thing other than money is getting the right person to lead the program. My message was really about the opportunity to strengthen the link between education and opportunity in the great state of Mississippi, ways that the economic development community and the workforce development community and higher education can all work together to help more people to have good outcomes.
Our conversation today is going to be around the career coaching and as it serves as an economic engine for the state of Mississippi. And with us on stage, we've got some amazing people who understand the life cycle of coaching from the historical context, also where it's going, and can speak from different vantage points.
But I don't believe there's anything that we have done that has been more important and impactful than starting a career coach program. And I'll try not to get emotional here. Ryan, you said you see career coaches as shepherds, and they certainly are that. I call them missionaries too, and they fit the bill on that in a lot of different ways.
I've always said that our students are one caring adult away from a success story. And in so many cases, you're being that one caring adult. We've seen it time and time last year. We're going to continue to see it going forward. And you're making a difference not only in their lives, but you're making a difference in your community because they're then going home and making a difference at home. I'm going to share a short story of a student who was really interested in a welding program. Long story short, he was so excited about the program and getting his high school equivalency that he went home and was sharing with his dad, and his dad decided to get his high school equivalency as well.
The student walked into the Career Center and said that he really enjoyed meeting with this one particular group. It was Dixie Electric. And he said that he talked with a bunch of different people that were standing at the table. We kind of had a wide variety of careers available there. And he said that he kind of wanted to dive a little bit deeper. He wanted to know a little bit more about these careers. And so I set up a job shadow for him. And Dixie Electric was very welcoming for this student to come in, and he was able to see several different departments. And then during that interaction, they told him about this internship that they have over the summer that the student just completed. He applied for it, he got the internship, and he is now in his senior year, and he already has an internship experience that he gets to add to his resume, and we're able to move forward from that. And so that's, one specific example in terms of that benefit for the student, but that's also mutually beneficial for the industries. They're able to see these students that are diving into these employment and professional opportunities for them to start making those connections a lot earlier between the student and that professional. For the student, it's important because they're kind of having someone that they can look up to, that they can say, hey, that's someone that might be a potential role model for me. That's someone that I can aspire to have that career goal. And so it's super beneficial for both parties involved. And for the latter part of that question, in that economic development standpoint, we as career coaches, we're not at the forefront of those like recruitment efforts necessarily, but that's something that we work with existing industry. That's something that our team and our leadership can tell incoming, whenever they're discussing potential site developments, things like that, that they can use those examples as a way to have that direct pipeline to a workforce.
There is a disconnect between the industry and the high schools. I knew we had great relationships with our CTE directors. Derek Reed, he's in the room. We had great relationships with them, but we were missing 80% of the students that were in the high schools. And I knew that we, as the largest employer in the state, had the opportunity to change the lives of these students. So we met with our career coaches and we started developing a plan, and it was very quick. I often say that I feel as though I work for the career coaches because they are on my phone. They call Ben Weldon, who is our workforce development manager, with ideas, and we are just not ideas, but it's actions. So one of the things that we put together, we realized that the barriers for the young people to come out to the shipyard were the parents. And so we thought about the things that we could do to reach out to not just the students, but the parents. And we came up with this idea called Peace and Possibilities. And this is where we went into the high schools, working with the career coaches, went into the high schools and met with the students and their parents. We invited them in, offered them pizza because everybody loves pizza.
That's true. That's actually true.
Offered them pizza and just started talking about careers and removing the mystery away from the shipyard. And it's more than just being a welder. We have over 500 job titles at Ingalls. We have scientists and doctors and lawyers. And we wanted to expose the parents and the students to that. And so that's what we started doing. We're actually having our kickoff session this month, August 31st, at the Maritime Training Center on Ingalls. And we're going to invite the students and their parents there and have the conversations.
What these men and women are doing is taking that 10th, 11th, and 12th grade person and giving them a path forward to a job. Now, there are a whole bunch of variables to that. I mean, you can get a job in just about anything here in Mississippi right now. So we want them to be economically trained. And this is creating an economic future for these children. And that's what's so important to Mississippi is we give them this economic, they got a vision of if I want to do this, I can do this. This is how I go about doing that. So I'm really excited about their I think this program has been outstanding. I intend to continue to support it.
First of all, in economic development, so many years, we looked at workforce training as just a pure incentive. You know, you look at Mississippi's history, for so long we talked about, you know, we could, cheap labor, we have cheap land, we have resources, you can come here. We basically didn't sell value. Today, manufacturing, service sector, technology, any business, they're interested in value. And if you're going to sell value, then you have to show a way that our workforce can support any type of business that's looking to locate in Mississippi. And so with that said, how does economic development play in a role? Well, you can no longer think of workforce training as an incentive. As I shared earlier today, it's product. It is a product. Your people are your product. My message was to make sure that people are doing their due diligence on the front end, understand their workforce. It's not just an unemployment rate. It's also looking at labor participation rate. It's looking at it by gender, looking at it by zip code, understand everything about labor participation and who's not participating in the workforce, and then trying to figure out how state policy and local work together can help bring people back to the workforce.
What's your recommendation for Mississippi?
So I think Mississippi is doing a good job, a significant investment in what we've seen in the last few years of new businesses moving here. I think we have to really do a better job on trying to figure out customized training, how when new businesses are looking at the state and how we set up a customized training program to provide that.
So on the screen, you'll see a picture from a major motion picture that came out many years ago, dating myself now. This is from Gladiator. This is the first battle that he engages in the Colosseum with the other gladiators, and they run out onto the field, and they're awaiting their demise because, as everyone knows, gladiators go into the arena to get killed, not to win. And of course, as soon as they take the field, you see this ambush come from all sides. There are chariots, there are horses, there are spears, there are arrows, there are all sorts of implements of death being thrown their way. And Maximus Aurelius, being the unbelievable tactician that he is, calls all the men to the center of the arena and has them bind their shields together in a complete circle. Those that bind their shields together are in the best position for survival. They're in the best position for success. And in fact, at that time, he yells to the men, "Hold fast." Because he knows together they are mightier, together they are stronger, together they stand the best possible chances of not just surviving the onslaught being thrown at them, but being successful in conquering their foes. And in fact, they do. We are a team together as a state of Mississippi. And the odds are so heavily stacked against us because it's so complicated, because it's so hard. Trying to figure out pathways, trying to figure out how to dedicate and coordinate and focus resources collectively. It's complicated and it's difficult, and a lot of people don't expect Mississippi to be very good at it. In fact, I've had people in my position in other states say, "Hey, we're an open book. Come look at what we do because you can't do it." They actually said that to me.
we don't think you can do this. So by all means, take a look at what we do. Look behind the curtain. We're not really threatened by y'all. I'm asking you all today to stand with me and bind your shields up with me and hold fast, because we went once more into the breach. We're in it now. We're in the struggle, we're in the battle, we're in the war, and to do this effectively, to do it successfully, and to show the world how amazing we are collectively, we have to bring our shields together and hold fast.
As we move forward, and what we're trying to do today is we're talking about kind of aligning all of our efforts together. And when you think about it, so many of us in this room all have the same goal. Sometimes we just may not know what everybody's doing or what everybody's focusing on in order to get us there, but we will get there. And I think by having these types of meetings where we're able to talk about issues, spend some time together, and figure out what are our next steps, I think that's going to make a big difference as we move forward.
Our Ascent to 55 program is really designed to increase the number of citizens in the state of Mississippi that have either degrees or industry credentials that will lead to a better, longer-lasting, higher-paying career. And then our Mississippi Talent Initiative is in the research phase. We've been in this probably about 6 months at this point, looking at what are really the things that are happening across the state to help us find a better way of providing opportunities for young professionals.
If you'll look at this proves our educators are doing what we asked them to do. Mississippi is #1 in the nation for the highest percentage of students leaving K-12 and entering post-secondary. #1 for students exiting high school and entering post-secondary. But the problem comes at the end of year 1. We drop to 37th. We lose a great number after year 1 at our universities. Not quite as many as at community college, but there's still a big dip in individuals leaving. Why? There are a lot of different reasons. Hopefully there are a lot of career coaches in this room that can help with that. A lot of people, mom and dads are a lot to blame. What's your child going to do? They're going to college. How many of you have heard that? They're going to college. But we really don't know what we're going to college for.
Ascent to 55% was set forth by the Education Achievement Council that by the year 2030, 55% of our adult population would have either a certification, an associate degree, bachelor's degree, or higher in order to improve our attainment rate in the state. And by 2035, 60% of our adults.
What kind of progress have you seen so far?
We've seen good progress. Right now we're at 48.5%. We're up. We're one of 5 states that actually went up. Most of that improvement has been in certifications, but we're seeing an increase also in associate degrees and bachelor's degrees.
Tell us, how does that fit into what we're doing here in terms of workforce development?
Without attainment, we're not going to improve workforce development. With the talent that we have coming out, we've got to have more. We really need to get to 70% based on what the Southern Education Board says. So having that attainment rate will draw business and industry to us. And as we have more people ready for the workforce through education, whether it's a certification, an associate degree, bachelor's degree, then we're going to attract more economic development, and it's the pipeline to get all of that done.
We have to figure out how our K-12 accountability model fits our workforce needs. We then have to focus on what are the pathways to productive careers and what is the post-secondary education requirements for those pathways in terms of educational attainment. And then you do those two things, it creates an opportunity for us to be in a better position to not only retain young professionals here in the state of Mississippi, but attract young professionals from other places here to Mississippi. So that is really kind of the focus of our session this morning. Very appreciative of Accelerate asking us to come out and be part of the symposium. They're doing a tremendous job. When the Office of Workforce Development was set up, we knew there was tons of potential to really focus on, creating that that synergy with workforce development, and just in a very short period of time, we're starting to see the results of that.
A true, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to what you are doing, because all of you are key and critical in our future success in terms of taking the successes that we've had, and we've had a lot of them in our state, really for a long period of time, but taking those successes, recognizing them, and then scaling them statewide. And so really that's why I think conversations like you've had this week are critically important, because you're going to be the boots on the ground, if you will, in actually the implementation process of taking successes maybe that were found in one area or in one community college and scaling it statewide, so that we go from helping 200 or 300 Mississippians to helping 200,000 or 300,000 Mississippians. And so, again, a huge thank you to all of you. Look, the Mississippi miracle is real. And no matter what some people want to convince others of, the Mississippi miracle is real. And now I'm amazed that it's now being called the Mississippi miracle. In fact, when the New York Times wrote about the Mississippi miracle, I almost choked on my catfish, because they don't write a lot of good, nice things about Mississippi. But the fact of the matter is, when you think about where we have come as a state in a very short period of time, because of good, strong public policy that was enacted at the legislative level, followed up by very, very, very good implementation from the State Department of Education to our school districts, all the way down to the classroom, it's just a prime example of what can happen and the success that we can have when we're all pulling in the same direction. And so the Mississippi Miracle, obviously, and I know you've all heard about it, but I mean, you think about 10 years ago, and you look at fourth grade reading and fourth grade math, and most of the conversation around the Mississippi Miracle has been focused on test scoring and testing, and that's understandable. But I want to mention one other piece that Ryan mentioned as well, and that is the high school graduation rate. The fact that we've gone from a 72.5% high school graduation rate 10 to 12 years ago to actually graduating our kids at 88.9% last year. Over time, what that means, because look, it's easy for me as someone who really focuses on the numbers to sit up here and talk about those numbers, but here's what it really means, and this is what you see every single day. What it really means is 3,000 to 4,000 kids every single year in Mississippi that are getting a high school degree that 10 years ago would not have. Over a 10-year period, that means there's 30,000 to 40,000 kids in Mississippi that are getting a high school diploma that 10 years ago would not have. 30,000 to 40,000 over 10 years, that's 1.33% of our entire population over a 10-year period that now have a high school diploma that 10 years ago would not have. That's incredible and incredibly important.
Well, Mississippi has momentum, and this is Mississippi's time. And one of the big reasons that Mississippi has momentum is because of the people in this room and the work that they have done over the last several years, improving the quality of our workforce development, our workforce training systems, the new career coaches that we put into our public high schools. We've just got a lot of good things going on in our state, and our people are the ones that are going to benefit.
I am a career coach. My name is Lori Holland. I serve at Nantachie High School, which is in Itawamba County. And this has been an excellent conference. It's been really good to come together with all the other career coaches in the state and also all the entities that are involved that are making this a success. And we really appreciate Accelerate Mississippi and everything they're doing for us, all of the legislature being able to come together and give this to our kids.
I am a career coach, Mark Fennessy from Forest Hill High School. I think overall about this event, I think the most important thing I've learned is about the collaborations from the job seekers and also the industry, that we're going to try to work together. and everything about this is about building relationships.
My name is Beverly Bean, and I'm a career coach at Tremont Attendance Center in North Mississippi. I'm so glad to be able to be a part of this symposium, and because we've got to learn everything that different districts are doing and ways that we can help our students and build communications and network with the colleges and the other industries around us.
I'm a career coach at Northwest Rankin High School, and what I learned in this conference this week is the collaboration with our industry partners, our other career coaches, as well as just making good contacts to bring good information back to our students.
Oh, it's extremely valuable to our state. I mean, kids and parents are making crucial decisions at an early age, and they just need some guidance. The career coaches can offer guidance to the students. The parents, they can be the gateway to employment. So there's just a lot of opportunities out there for our state now.
Let me tell you, this is absolutely outstanding that we have people from really every corner of the state, and not only just Metro Jackson and some of our larger population centers, but community colleges, people who are trying to create jobs, people who are trying to bring more industry into the state. This is a tremendous crowd, and it makes me feel good, and I'm just glad to be part of it and provide help with federal, state, and local partnerships.
Well, I'm just proud to be here at Accelerate Mississippi's New Horizons Symposium to talk about the role that higher education can play in working throughout the state, and the unique role that Mississippi State plays as a land-grant, as a service university, to work in communities throughout the state, but also to provide educational pathways for students who maybe go to a community college and get a technical degree, a technical skill, who before we started our new Bachelor of Applied Science program, that was a terminal degree. They had no other upward mobility for their education. And that's why I'm excited that Mississippi State has created an opportunity to partner with community colleges, to partner with industries throughout the state, to provide additional education for employees to get better education, to have better career opportunities, and it increases the educational attainment for the whole state of Mississippi. So we're excited to be part of this entire effort and working with all the many partners we have throughout the state.
I think it was a wonderful success in that we had so many people stay to the bitter end, looking for ways to continue to collaborate and communicate. You heard the governor very succinctly but also very passionately talk about the role and responsibility that we all have to coordinate and pull in the same direction. I think this week you have seen any number of organizations and very passionate individuals make that pledge. We're going to be moving in the same direction. We're creating that momentum for our people, and we're going to use our resources in a collaborative way to ensure the success of that. So I think it's been a wonderful success. I think a lot of people have a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm. We just can't wait till next year.
This has been the Mississippi Hometown Network. If you have any questions, please email us.
I participated personally in over 70 ribbon cuttings last year. I've seen about 10 NASCAR.
From serving in the office of governor
For the state of Mississippi,
for the state of Mississippi,
that I will faithfully
And the Miss America pageant live from Atlantic City on September 13th, 2015. You all have a
flourish, where government is designed to support innovation and encourage economic growth.
Mayor Eddie Fulton Twitter. So once again.
I was first alternate 2 years ago, and so it's a very similar experience in France.
At the twilight's last gleaming, who's brought
to our semifinalists and all of our fantastic contestants. They were absolutely tremendous. Don't you agree?